My name is Isaiah Montanez and I'm 13 years old. I live in Seabright, New Jersey. Seabright was a lot cleaner before the storm. I used to go down there a lot and hang out with my friends, but that was pretty difficult after the storm because the after effects made it pretty hard. I wasn't in Seabright for a while because I was living in a hotel. I didn't feel good. I was really uncomfortable because I'm not used to staying out of my house so long.
Sandy gave us a kick in the teeth and a jump start at the same time. So I think it really has increased our recognition of how important it is for disaster planning. When you're displaced, when you're not living in your own home, it is really difficult to get your life together, to get your kids together, to get all of the things that you used to do and that used to make you happy. It's very tough. So I think that we know that for things like suicide and for those types of real depression, this is the time that it's still happening. Our whole last annual meeting was about disaster planning and taking care of patients in the aftermath of disaster. And I think that this will be an ongoing effort of the chapter, is to do everything we can to ensure that every person and every practice is ready for the next disaster.
When we think of Sandy, we think of the flooding, the houses that were destroyed. But I think of a little child whose dad worked down in Atlantic City. Their particular home wasn't destroyed, but his job was. That meant that they then had a financial stress. And so everything became tense around the home. And there was more arguing between the parents. And the child felt nervous, anxious. It started to show up in her schoolwork because the dynamics at home changed. And we had to have that conversation to try and unravel really what was going on, what was going on in the household.
Environment is so hugely important to children. The capacity of children, the resilience of children, their strengths is also an important part of what pediatrics is.
It was a place where everybody after school would hang out. Like there was a basketball court right across from the library, and there was everybody lived there. Like half of my friends from my classes were there, so it felt sad to have them gone after the storm. But before the storm, it was just a place where people could hang out.
When you're seeing the child, they may not really want to talk about the actual disaster that occurred, but talk about the fact that their mom is sad, or the fact that their parents fight, or the fact that they no longer live near grandma and grandpa. So unfortunately, it's one thing to just deal with a single event, but it's more complicated than that. We have to deal with all of the difficulties that children have as a result of these events.
When you have a death or a loss, there's stages that you go through that are studied in predictable stages of moving through grief. And is this external experience of a big toxic stress like Hurricane Sandy something that leads us all through a kind of grief response? And again, as pediatricians and practices, I don't think we spent enough time reflecting with each other where we were to get back to being resilience centers, which is really what I think a pediatric practice needs to be for kids and families, is looking at the very different complexities of families and saying, how do we be a little part of a child's journey through life and making them as resilient a person as they can be.
The good news is that there's a lot of opportunity for pediatricians to partner with community resources that meet these needs for children. So whether it's the early intervention program that goes out to families' homes and provides services like speech therapy or physical therapy when the kids are showing signs of developmental delay. I think the Pediatric Partnership Initiative really provides a great opportunity for pediatricians to really get to know about these community resources that are out there and to be able to have the tools to link families to these resources.
Staying out of my house for so long just showed me that it's great what I have at home, and that natural disasters can be really harsh, so you should be grateful that you live in your house and that you're living under good conditions. Just be confident, and that if something like Sandy happens to you, that things are just going to get better.